Yo, GM, we are back with the Dollar Trade Show. Finally, the first show of 2026. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good. How are you?
Oh, good. Oh,
Terribly
good.
depressed. Terribly depressed. How can
It's good.
anybody be happy after such a horrible festive season in general? Like, what is that fucking Christmas, New Year shit all about? Having to sit with people you don't like for fucking hours on end. It's nuts. I'm not joking. I had a slightly good Christmas. Great time.
Yeah. So it was time to complain about the prices. Nothing's moving. It's a crab market. Nobody's exciting. But we have Julian here from Mimco and Prediction Markets to talk about prediction markets because, guys, there is so much stuff going on right now. And if you're listening to us and if you've been following the weekly on Prediction Markets newsletter, you are aware of this. And Julian, please, before we start, tell us who are you, what you're building
Sure.
for those who
So,
don't know you.
yeah, sure. I'm Julian. I'm one of the co-founders of Meme Coin Prediction Markets. So we've built prediction markets for meme coins, and basically, instead of trading charts, you sort of express conviction on the outcomes over different time frames, sort of short time frames. Basically, bull or bear. So it'll be over 1 hour, 24-hour, and 7-day markets. So winners share the pot. So it's a basically a binary outcome. Winners share the pot, and locked holders share in the protocol fees that are generated, and even losers will get to share in things when we have the Meme Coin World Cup live. And it's basically meme coin culture, but with infrastructure, really. So that's
Pretty cool.
that's
Very
it.
cool. To make it sorry, I don't want to correct you, but to make it a perfect pitch, I would add creating a flywheel between the meme coin community and prediction market users.
I like that.
Yes. We
I
need
like
to use flywheel. I mean, if there's no flywheel, people don't pay attention.
Although we've definitely got a few flywheels involved in what we're doing. So yes, that's good.
Amazing. Okay, Nick, are we ready to start? You tell me. Yeah. Okay.
No, I think you're good.
Guys, let me share my screen. Let's go over everything that's going on. So, first topic that we are going to go with the news. Then we have a lot of data to share with you guys, updates, and some threads and articles. Really interesting about prediction markets. Okay, so notable. Kalshi CEO Tarek Mansour says on LinkedIn that prediction market company is supportive of legislation from Representative Richie Torres to ban government officials from insider trading on platforms like theirs. So this is once again regulation and the fear of insider trading on prediction market. This is what we're talking about. Basically, they are debating this in the US, and Kalshi CEO just I mean it makes total sense because he's running I mean, the regulated prediction market right now. And I mean, it's not a surprise to do this. Okay, the question that I always ask: is it a feature to have insider traders, or is it a bug? We always ask this.
My vote
What
is
do you
it's a
guys think?
feature.
I think it's a
However,
feature. Yeah.
however, it is a feature of the thing. However, should politicians be allowed to get rich because they have all the insider information and they side things off? No, they shouldn't, because they're fucking getting paid by the country to run it, not
Mhm.
paid so they can get insider information and trade that information using the salaries that we paid them.
Yeah, and so my take on this is it's a different beast when you're talking about a regulated market because there is
Mhm.
something to be done on a market like Kalshi with know your customer. So you can, in theory, apply rules and limit insider trading, but how do you do that in a decentralized platform that has no know your customer?
Well,
I,
you
I I
can't
don't
even
even
do it on a
think
centralized one.
that's
Like
it. I don't I don't
you can't do it on stock markets. That's why
yeah
like they're all getting hammered right now over there for
yeah. So
well,
my point is it makes to
Trump's attacking the ones that he doesn't like for doing that while him and his team are doing it all the time.
Yeah. So my point is for it is a discussion for regulated markets like Cauchy, but for markets like poly markets, I mean, I don't think we should even spend time discussing this because it's not something that's feasible to be done.
But they are about to be regulated, right? Like that's their whole push this year.
But that's I'm curious about this. Are they going to have two platforms, Polymarket US, running on the US for American customers, and
Yeah.
like the general Polymarket that anyone can have access?
Yeah,
I'm curious about the liquidity. So, are you competing to the same? I mean, are you competing on the same pools? Because if I'm playing a pool that has potential insider tradings, and you are competing in a pool that is regulated, what's the difference between
regulated pools still have insider trading? It happens in the stock market all the time. Like you can't, if somebody goes in and knows information and bets on, maybe they just won't bet as boldly, or they'll bet across. They'll give the kind of like, if we all go back to, if people are watching this and they've never watched Wall Street for anecdotal understandings of how financial markets work, you're a fucking idiot, or I'm a fucking idiot for using Wall Street. But like the real insider trading is done spread across many participants, controlled by one person. That's the real insider trading, not some dude coming in and throwing 100 grand in a direction that was almost zero. That's hard. That's like that's
not going to happen.
That tells us to get out of our position. But like, real insider trading it's stratified, right? Because you can't be showing that you have information and are trading on that information.
Yeah, and this discussion came up again last week because of the Maduro situation. You know, a day before there was a new wallet that put like $30,000. I mean, it was a brand new wallet. In a span of 24 hours, it made like $400,000 from that bet. So everybody started to talk about again, okay, this is an inside trading. Some people were saying even that was one of the Trump's sons.
They always say it's one of Trump's sons.
Yeah. But anyway, that got a lot of attention, and that's it. This is why this conversation.
You're sitting there quiet.
No, just listening in. I mean, it's kind of like the first real legitimacy test for prediction markets around sort of insider trading, and I mean, it's always gone on well before prediction markets. So you know, politicians have been doing that forever. You know, Nancy Pelosi is the obvious kind of meme about it all. But I mean, I think, you know, it's always, there's always going to be someone closer to like the spigot than anyone else, and so
exactly
how you can sort of allow or make rules for that is kind of ambiguous anyway, because someone who is close, maybe they don't do it directly, but they make the prediction indirectly somehow. You know, how do you factor in for that type of thing? I mean, it's like, it is what it is. I don't know how you can necessarily, I mean, obviously you will regulate it out in some way or other, but even with regulations, you know, TradFi has had regulations forever. It still happens. So, you know, it's something that we probably have to sort of just work around. And, you know, what you'll probably do is you're just trying to find an edge of, you know, finding those that have that insider information before someone else finds it, and so you're like the second in the chain. You know, it's about you'll be doing your research to try and find out if you can, you know, get to somewhere and make, because a lot of people aren't trying to get, you know, a prediction that is all the way from, you know, 0 to 1. They're often they're trying to get in at 50 and out at 75 sort of thing. So, and it's okay, how do you find a position that allows you to make a gain in you know, in whichever way you want, and a lot of people will do it in size, but with a small you know, lift between where they're in and where they're out, but they'll do it with big size, and they'll make a lot of money. So if they can get close to where that sort of knowledge is, then that's enough. I don't think you can
Yeah.
get around insiders.
Can we summarize from a sort of like social point of view that the people complaining about the insider information are mad because they didn't have the insider information? They're just haters. They're just haters.
Because they,
No, so,
they lost money with that, yeah.
Just on CEO chat from this. So what's his name? Shane Copeland. I think he was on 60 Minutes. I can't remember if we said this already because I'm doing other things in the background here, right? But I think he was on 60 Minutes and he said on 60 Minutes that it's a feature.
Yeah, the thing is, if
So,
you
like,
think about prediction markets as a truth machine,
yeah,
it
it's a
is,
feature. Yeah. And and their angle is always so. I think it's quite. I mean, Kalshi's adopting the sort of media narrative sort of view, but realistically, they started heavy in sports books, right? And I think Polymarket did kind of start around politics and crypto prices and stuff like that. If we look back, but they are heavy into they established the narrative that this could replace pundits, and they are still sticking to that to this point. So it will be interesting to see what happens when the prediction market, who has the New York Stock Exchange sitting behind it, continues to sit on the line saying this isn't insider trading, this is lead information. Whereas Kalshi, because they're regulated, has to say, no, we'll deal with this. We'll do. But
it makes a lot of sense to see Kalshi with this
live
position.
in the US regulated will be an interesting day to see how their narratives shift, and they might only have that narrative inside the US, and outside the US, where like we all are, we might see different narratives coming out of Polymarket.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is that it's about surfacing truth quicker. So rather than, where we have had to accept legacy media for the truth, now there is a place where people who have some kind of knowledge or whatever can, surface that quicker. And yes, maybe that is seen as insider trading if they're predicting on it, but if it's getting the truth out there, then it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't want truth to be surfaced quicker and then not expect someone or other is going to gain from it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So if you think this way, you can say, okay, if you lost money because of an insider, it was bad for you. But if society got accurate information about the chances of an event happening, it's a net positive for society as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I think some people don't even use prediction markets as prediction markets. They go to Polymarket just to see what the kind of like the headlines or what the narrative is at the moment.
There was
necessarily engage in the actual in making.
There was a good article a couple of weeks ago. I always forgot his name. It's the 50 cent dollar newsletter, and he was just talking about 50 pence. Yeah, like the price is the product, and how most people rely on prediction markets, not for trading, not for making money, but for as an actual source of information. Yeah.
And I did it this year not to renew my mortgage with my bank after them sending me a little letter saying, "Oh, prices could go up. Maybe if you lock in your stuff right now." And I was like, I don't think this is changing. If anything, it's going down. And I looked at Polymarket to check, and it did go down. And I never signed it, and I'm better off because of it. So don't trust banks. Rule number one. I have to say, there's a parallel sort of thing around crypto with Bitcoin, with this whole transparency thing. Like, it's either kind of hyper transparency or no transparency, right? So like, yes, somebody might be able to see how much money you've got, and I don't necessarily agree with this because it's quite dangerous in the world, right? But also we get to see what the government and what people are doing with that money. Like, who are they sending it to? Who are they funding? And it's not clear to me yet if that is actually, if it's going to happen, and if it's going to be useful for us to be able to see full transparency. But essentially, I kind of see a parallel with prediction markets where they're saying, no, we can't have outliers coming in and giving out information in the middle of a market, because then you're causing upset in the market and some people are getting fucked because you knew more information. But if the idea is is to understand if a war is about to break out or if a treaty is about to get right. Like, I think that's more useful than me losing some money on another trade in another market because of an insider trader. I think I would rather know the truth than not know the truth and still make money.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes
I think
sense.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
You need
Makes
to
sense.
follow.
Makes
Don't you
sense.
need to follow the pizza?
The pizza, there's this account. Yeah.
Where they track, you know, how-
Pentagon, the Pentagon pizza something account. Yeah,
What?
that's
I don't know
that's
this.
a funny one.
No.
Yeah, I can show you. It's on my list. So by the way, guys, I
Alright,
have this list on prediction markets. Go to my profile, click there. There's a list, prediction markets. There's that account there. Okay, guys, let's move forward for partnerships. Okay, I mean, I think overall we kind of agree that insider trading can be good for prediction markets as a source of truth. Okay, so guys, last week there was a lot of partnerships announced by Polymarket. So here we have three. So Madison Square Garden has named Polymarket as the official exclusive prediction market partner for the New York Rangers. New York Rangers, it's from hockey, ice skating, right? It's hockey.
Ice hockey, yeah.
Ice hockey. Okay.
Says a dude from a tropical country. It's just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is ice?
What the fuck is
that
ice?
thing I get out of the freezer from a drink.
That's the only place where I can see you ice here, guys. That's it. And the same day, Polymarket posted, we are honored to be named the exclusive prediction market partner of the Wall Street Journal in the Dow Jones, the world's largest prediction market, the most trusted voices in finance. So this is clearly following in the path of Cauchy's. Cauchy has this partnership with CNN and CNBC, and now Polymarket with the Wall Street Journal and Dow Jones.
What I'm curious to know is who's paying who in these relationships.
See, let's see what
this. Know in these partnerships is Polymarket paying them to be, because then it's like a paid deal. It's not really a partnership, right? Or is Wall Street Journal or Dow Jones paying them to get access to their data?
I think it's that way.
It's very unclear. You think Polymarket's paying them?
No,
I think so too. You think Wall Street Journal's paying Polymarket?
Yeah,
that's what I think it should be.
Yeah, I think
because imagine a distribution opportunity by Polymarket saying we'll pay you or we'll give you it for free.
Well, it's an interesting one, and I don't know. I'm not an insider or anything. So, I think it's them paying Polymarket because I think that's why ICE bought into this. So ICE probably doing the deals in the back end. So ICE is saying, right, if you want to kind of partner with us, we'll give you the clout, but you got to pay for the data source.
That makes lots of sense.
So I mean, all of this is really, it's kind of Polymarket like buying like legitimacy through partnerships, and rather than user incentives. So, which makes sense. I mean, they're just broadening their reach at the moment, and they're broadening their visibility to far wider than just crypto, which absolutely makes sense. So it's not a surprise. It's all been rolling out so quickly ever since. I mean, we spoke about it after that the kind of meeting they had, and we was like, all of a sudden, ICE then said, right, we're investing, and it's like these things were already pre-planned in the background, and they've just been rolling it out one part after another, and this is just a continuation of that rollout. And it's really about normalizing prediction markets, I think. So as a genuine category rather than an outlier. And I think Polymarket probably want to be seen as the default rather than like the edge case in. So and they were always the default in crypto if you want to think about it like that, but they want to be seen as the default across the board. So then now, rather than I think them necessarily competing against Cauchy in their eyes, I think they probably see themselves competing against all the current legacy betting arenas and everything for certain areas. So, I mean, it's more about, it's not about like core product drivers. I think it's more about just distribution layers, and just getting Polymarket further and further out there.
There's a term for it called co-citation, and that's kind of what they're going for. They want to be co-cited with other trusted authorities, so then they leech the trust. Comes from my first experience of that's from PageRank from Google. It's like if you're mentioned in the same article as this highly authoritative thing, then you start to leech that authority from them and become a higher ranking thing yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you going to say, Diego?
No, it legitimizes the narrative about Polymarket as a source of information instead of a trading platform. And I remember it calls our attention like over a year ago when Nick and I started to dig into this. We started to read the documentation on Polymarket. And it was, what? They're selling themselves as a media company? That's not media at all. But I mean, it makes sense what they were trying to do, and it legitimates that move.
Yeah, and I think that just to sort of finish off the point about where we started there, where is it Polymarket paying them or they paying Polymarket? Obviously the jury's kind of out on that, and the reason why it's kind of it could go either way is that Polymarket gives these TradFi companies legitimacy in a kind of new age of visibility, whereas Polymarket is almost retrofitting that and bringing legitimacy from the associating with the TradFi players to have the legitimacy in that kind of market space that they're yet to kind of come into with the US version of Polymarket and so on. So the trade-off is kind of quite even, I think, at the moment, and that's why it could be one is paying one and one, or one is paying the other, and you can't really sort of tell at the moment. But my feeling is that Polymarket is the more there's more value in Polymarket, where they have to keep up. They have to by partnering with Polymarket, they still stay relevant. That's how I see it.
Yes.
Rather than Polymarket needing them for relevancy, but they kind of do a bit at the moment for legitimacy. Sorry, rather than
legitimacy. Yeah. For trust.
So
for trust.
Trade. Yes, absolutely.
And the way I see it is that even if Polymarket are paying for it, that won't last very long, because at some point Polymarket will flip them and they will have to pay Polymarket for access to their data. So I think even if they're short-term paying the UFC, NFL, whatever it is, that's fine. Like at some point they're going to want access to their, because there's a whole bunch of data flow that if you're playing with the API that you can have a look at. And these newspapers and media companies will want to embed that into their storytelling.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So, it's I like the business of all this as well. It's like not just about the markets and stuff like that. The business of it is so interesting.
It is. And so a day later, they announced one more partnership. Polymarket is honorably proud to be named the exclusive prediction market partner of the Golden Globes. Tune in Sunday. So if you've been following the newsletter, you got these on Saturday before we talk about it here live in the show. So make sure to subscribe. Go to dollartrade.xyz, subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. Yeah. Golden Globes. It's about movies, right? It's the Oscar, but not as famous, right?
I think is it TV?
Yes,
I don't know. But I know it's a kind of it's a kind of a prize that they gave to people who are in these movies and stuff. Okay, so John Wang, this was interesting. So he was posting about Kalshi now, guys. So crypto is now the second largest category on Kalshi with 40% growth in volumes just last month. Give us one proper bull run and crypto is going head to head with sports. And they added 15 minutes markets for hourly, daily price markets. It's becoming a trend because Polymarket had this as well, Predict.fun as well. And it was interesting because commenting this, Dustin Gawker said, okay, crypto I mean, even with this 40% growth, crypto is only 2.5% of the total volume of over like 30 days.
Yeah.
So sports is more than 91%. And we are going to talk about how they broke several records because it's the NFL. I think the playoffs are getting close. So people are really into sports. And I mean, sports are still really strong, both for Kalshi and Polymarket, but especially for Kalshi.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so breaking news. I mean, people don't use breaking properly, but anyway. So Polymarket appears to be introducing fees as high as 3% on the 15-minute crypto up and down markets. A new page on their documentation website has appeared, which strongly suggests that fees are about to be enabled for these markets. I mean, it doesn't suggest, it actually says which markets have fees. Currently, only 15-minute market have fees. And then it has a kind of a progression of how much money are you going to pay for a share and how much you would pay for a fee. And it's interesting because the guy even this is amazing, guys. Whenever you post some information, post the source. So he posts the link for the GitHub here, so you can see for themselves for yourselves.
The issue with
Uh,
crypto though is there's fees. There will be platform fees, and then there'll be network/validator fees. So we still don't see the full price of doing a transaction on Polymarket.
yeah, yeah,
It's re-
exactly.
and that will
That's
fuck them up,
annoying.
and that will piss off professional traders because you
Mm-hmm.
can't actually tell how much you're going to be paying
Mm-hmm.
for your
Mm-hmm.
trade. You can't really work things out.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kalshi is like 3 times more expensive than everybody else. Sports books
They
and
have been
Polymarket.
charging 3% since ever. They have been charging 3%
Yeah,
on
but
everything.
it's
Yeah.
way more than everybody else.
It
So it'll be
seems to.
interesting to see how long that lasts because there's going to be a fee war at some point because we saw this in NFT marketplaces where
Mhm.
it was that OpenSea came out the bag really fast, fucking huge amounts of money, and then was it Rarible or something like that? Came out with the exact same product, exact same listing set, and half the fees, and it just went like this, just like OpenSea did this, Rarible did that, and it was over, and so it will be interesting to see how sensitive participants are to fee structures.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's going to surface is product confidence at the end of the day, isn't it? So, will users sort of stay if there are fees, and it will reveal sort of weak or strong demand depending on that. I mean, fees aren't necessarily a problem. It's just how they are used. I mean, we have fees on ours, but it's passed back to holders in rewards. So that's a structure that makes sense. If it's fees that then just go and are propping up balance sheets and everything, then I think maybe people might be a little bit more really, why am I having to pay, sort of thing, when it wasn't there. It's about how it's structured and why it's there at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, fees are necessary and they make the business sustainable. We've been seeing different platforms, OGs platforms implementing fees like Uniswap, they just turned on the fee switch. We see Nave, which's been on a civil war because nobody knows who's getting the fees, if it's the labs or if it's the DAO. But anyway, fees are important part of making a health ecosystem for this. So I'm not at all against fees. So just to comment on this, Nick mentioned the Kalshi fees are people complain, and it's common to see people posting screenshots of they're putting a bet on Kalshi and on DraftKings, FanDuel, and sometimes it's cheaper to use this traditional betting just because of the fees, how they are so far. But I believe that as we see more liquidity, as we see more players, this going to, I mean, we are going to see changes on that front.
For sure.
Okay, so moving forward, I think I should have put this one before, but anyway, it is. Oh, okay. This where is it? The pizza No, it's not. Sorry, guys. I messed this up. I'm going to skip this. It was just Dustin Gauker saying, he was commenting. So basically, there was they're talking about insider trading here, and Kaushi commented that, okay, Kaushi prohibits his activity here. And then Dustin Gauker say, okay, you did a great job here. And then it's just this guy, he's a politician in California, and he will say, hey, I just placed a bet on my campaign here, and if you support me, you should follow this. And
I do very much love how Dustin is fucking on it all the time. Like nothing goes past him. He's so sharp. Like nothing goes past him.
Yeah.
And whether I agree with him or not doesn't matter. Very little goes past him. And that must be fucking annoying for John Wang.
Dude, if the guys from Kaushi, I mean, if they treat these as a feedback loop, they keep getting feedback on what they are doing all the time, which is great. I mean, that's what anyone who's building. No, they probably don't think like this. But dude, if you're building something, what do you need all the time? Feedback. And this is what he's doing. He's pointing fingers on what is wrong and what he thinks is wrong could be better. And dude, if the guys are kind of use this in their benefit, they're going to create a great app, because he's as you said, he's sharp and he's putting out stuff all the time. Okay, finally, let's move to some data here. This is from Dash, and shout out to Dash. I just talked to him last week, and he's going to come to the show in a few weeks. He's going to be with us talking about metrics on prediction markets. So last week was the closest that prediction markets got to doing more volume than Pump.Fun. But Pump.Fun still did 4 times more, with 20 billion compared to prediction market at 5 billion. Please note that Pump.Fun includes pump swap volume also. Okay, I mean, we've been. I don't think it's actually a pretty fair comparison, because we are comparing different stuff. But as a reference, when you think about, okay, it's 2 kinds of consumer apps, 2 kinds of apps that are driving attention from retail, let's say retail, or at least from crypto retail, it's a useful comparison. But it shows that we are still far from the heights that Pump.Fun reached, and even from the regular volume that Pump.Fun make. And I just assume Julian is more into meme coins than Nick and I. And there was a kind of rebirth of an attempt to rebirth of meme coins in the beginning of this year, like last week and the first few days of the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
was there? I didn't see this. Damn it! I missed money again. Did money go past me again?
Well, there's again there was this white whale was one meme coin that sort of blew up and everything. I mean, there's the market has been quite depressed for a while now. I mean, people have are really in the lows on meme coins, and waiting for, like, a lot of retailers just like walked off. Just like, that's it, I'm done. Which is kind of sad because nothing's really changed, and people have just got I think just really nervous and just got out, taken something off the table, and probably lost a lot. But and so what it's caused is it feels like a bear market now. It has done in meme coins for quite a few months now. And that's borne out, as well as like a lot of influencers and everything have just like walked away off crypto Twitter.
Did we?
And
that Rico charges stuff?
Of what? Sorry.
Did you see the Rico charges stuff before Christmas?
No, go on.
Pump.Fun, all the guys in Pump.Fun and the founders of Solana are on Rico charges in the US for basically racketeering, right? So the reason the market's dead is because 0.04% of people realize 10K or more in meme coins through Solana. So it's dead because it was an actual rug, and they're all being investigated by it now. Because I've not got a problem with meme coins as they exist, but meme coins as they existed via Pump.Fun and be it via the meme coin cabals. Like the influencers are leaving because they can't rug retail because they've already rugged retail to the point where they left and broke the trust of everybody in crypto. And that's why Bitcoin's getting his ass handed to it a little bit right now, but it's still strong as hell. Still really, really strong. I know the other ones are, I mean, I have to say Solana's holding up quite well considering two of the co-founders have been named in a RICO charge, right? But like it's Pump.Fun has only damaged the crypto industry and only made a couple of people rich. You know, a handful of people very, very, very rich, disgustingly rich, and made many, many more people poor. So I think I think if the culture around meme coins is truly real, then it will come back, and it'll hopefully come back healthier. But like the reason it's dead right now is because it was one long extended rug coming out of Pump.Fun.
All right. Yeah, I mean, so adding to that, I mean, I really don't like the kind of Cole cabal sort of insider knowledge bundling of tokens, which has been massive over that period of time. So there's been this very low level of entry as far as creation, which Pump.Fun has created. And then on top of that, you have these sort of backroom, you know, sort of cabals or whatever who will run something and do something in the background, and people think that they're buying into something but they're being dumped on immediately as they're getting in. So that sort of trust element of crypto has been absolutely decimated by those kind of tactics, and I despise that. You know, I really, really hate that. I had a situation where as we were building meme coin prediction markets, that I had someone who was in one of these cabals, knew a lot of the big names and everything, was like, you know, we'll get involved, we'll come on board with you and everything, we can run it up to like millions and millions. And I'm like, no, it's all right, I've got some, you know, investors and what have you, you know, we want to do this right. Oh no, we can. And it just sounded like a pump and dump. It was just terrible, and I'm just like, that is not what I'm here for.
If anybody ever contacts you again, just go, your lock-in's 5 years. And just see if the conversation ends there. What do you mean the lock-in's 5 years? I mean, like we spoke to somebody and they gave us the breakdown. It was about doing stuff around Groovy, right? Like not around the token, but like just getting influencers. And this dude knows the top meme coin shillers, and they told us what they do. And I was like, oh fuck, man, I don't even know if I can work with that guy, because this is not what I go any crypto for, and you're just a kid, because most of them are young, right? Like they're like in their 20s. And they missed the reason crypto was created, I think, because they were all still babies when 2008 happened, right?
Yeah.
So we just crypto needs a bit of a reset. Really, like Bitcoin's fine, right? But the crypto market and all, it needs a reset. We need fees. We need to charge people. It needs to cost something, so people don't rug them, right? Like the top of the meme coin market was Trump, right? Yeah. The commander-in-chief of America rugged everybody, and then it never came back after that, right? And then what was it? The Argentinian dude tried one a week later. He did the same.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like a bunch of hits. Then Milena did one, like Trump's wife, and it was like. So I hope we see a more people-friendly version of meme coins coming back.
Healthier environment. Healthier environment.
All those sort of mass extraction events have been just terrible for crypto, and that's what I hate, and I just wouldn't want to be associated with that kind of thing. I think it's about how do you structure things so the benefits go back to the people who are engaging and being part of the protocol, and that that's how we've structured what we're doing, and that's how I think everything should be going forward. It's gone are the days, I hope, where people are just out there to just try and extract everything they can from the unwitting.
That's unfortunately we still see this kind of behavior. So let's check where the money is going, and it's interesting. Let me start from the comment here. Guy said, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, gentlemen." But unfortunately, numbers lie. I mean, if you know how to use them, they can lie for you. So it's not from Kaushi Data. So shout out to Kaushi Data and from Aaron as well. So he just reported this, but we are going to see next what's coming. So on January 4, Kaushi set a new record for daily notional volume, reaching approximately $400 million and closing the week with roughly $2 billion in total notional volume, which is huge. So this represents an increase of over $20 million above the previous all-time high of roughly 382 million set on December 21. So it's really close date because this was in January 6. I mean, like 2 weeks later, they were again hitting an all-time high. And based on this, Kaushi, this was interesting. So Kaushi posted, "We've crossed $100 billion in annualized volume. Next stop, 1 trillion. So it doesn't mean that Kaushi had $100 billion in volume on that day or even on the year to date. But considering the amount of money that they had on that day, if you annualize it, if you multiply for the number of days that there are on a year, you get to 100 billion. So it's an expectation of what they can achieve. And based on this, Nick Presler, and shout out to Nick, he's also going to come to the show in a few weeks. He posted. So there are two ways to interpret this. Kaushi has 100 billion in annualized volume. That's insane. So volume has catapulted since the start of the NFL season, and they have real users paying real fees in America and many countries abroad. Or notional volume is not a useful metric to determine real activity on prediction markets. And annualizing 6 days of volume, which it was posted on January 6, is an extreme extrapolation, especially when the lifetime notional volume of Kaushi is around 27 billion. So for the whole time, Kaushi run 27 billion, and now they are multiplying the 6 days volume for the year to get to these numbers. It caught attention for sure. Anyway, Nick concludes, but two things can be true. Kaushi is a successful high-growth company that very possibly will have 100 billion in volume this year. And this headline metric is misleading, which I totally agree. I mean, it's an extreme extrapolation. It's a great company.
Yeah, I think this is much more about marketing than it is about math. So, you know, it's great to be able to say, well, if we do this, extrapolate this is what we would. And it's not that it can't be true. It's just that it's really about, you know, perception.
It's just
that's right.
It's just like I said,
money in their brain.
I can just start. I can hear me out. I can just say, okay, if I keep getting 15% from my bank account every year, if I get 200 years, I going to become a billionaire. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So I'm a billionaire in potential. That's it.
We're all billionaires in potential.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Nick. I cut you, but
it's like who is this for, right? Who's the target audience, right? Because anyone who has half a brain who's trading on their platform knows it's bullshit. Anyone who's investing into them at the level that they need investment is fucking intelligent and knows what you do with numbers and knows this is bullshit. Who the fuck is this for? Like, what is the numbers?
I don't know. It's just because big numbers call attention and people get excited and people will share.
And the attention is this is bullshit. Like anybody that looks at it goes, "This is bullshit."
I think some sort of TradFi investors though are not as clever as you'd think they are, and they throw money at things that, you know, that they is perceived as being more valuable than it is. I mean, I agree.
They're quite late in their raising, right? So like they'll be looking for a lot of money, not like your kind of couple of million seed round. Like, I don't know, because I've never done anything at that level before.
No.
You know, so I don't know. So do you walk in a room and it's like the guy's actually thick as shit, and you just go, "Can you sign here?" you lift up his hand and you get to write the fucking thing, and then the money enters your bank account. Like, I don't know. This is why we need some top CEOs on this show to tell us what's behind the curtain. What's behind that curtain?
In some ways, I wouldn't be surprised at that if, and that's why if you come back to all these partnerships and everything that are landing, that whole the legitimacy side of this probably is partly about legitimacy about how others will come in and buy in to what is happening. So these sorts of headlines and everything probably aren't for us. They are for, you know, all these like various companies that could be investing in, you know, the likes of Kalshi and Polymarket and going, oh, look, you know, this is how well they're doing kind of thing. They, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't done as meticulously as they make out. I'm almost certain of that.
Oh, no. Like, if you've ever built any products, anybody who's ever built a product knows that nothing is smooth and nothing looks like it does on the outside. And you can kind of gauge that from how slow Polymarket is at times, right? Like, look at all the money they have. Their product technically should be flawless and incredibly fast. But I've spent many a day waiting for the login button to load. And I'm not the only one, because I thought it was a problem at my side, and I posted it into Prediction Arc. Shout out to Prediction Arc. And somebody was like, yeah, I have this problem too. So it's like an ongoing problem across all the community. And they're huge, right? It just shows you that, like, and also I was in Google years ago, and I was talking to like I think they had something to do with the architecture, and the guy was like, "Oh no, like we had to build all this layer because see all that stuff they built in the early 2000s is still there, and it doesn't fucking work properly, and we have to do all this shit to make sure that stays alive because we can't replace that bit underneath."
Yeah, I heard that about Amazon. Amazon's the same.
It will be for all of them.
The whole legacy build of Amazon when it was just like a bookstore or whatever, as far as I know, it's still there and it's just been built on top of it. Yeah, I mean, how crazy is that? If that's mad, that is genuinely true.
Yeah, I did work at a really big directories company. It was like a really well branded one in Scotland, and it was 10. I was there and it'd been alive for 10 years, and they were still using the original code base, and the guy that wrote it was the CTO, and he was still there managing it. And it's like, oh, you can never leave. You can't leave because if something goes wrong, only you know how to fix it. That works quite well for you, doesn't it? Salary goes up every year. Anyway,
okay, guys. So let's move forward. Let's move forward on this. Okay, we believed. Okay, it's misleading. This is not for the average user of prediction markets, but yeah, it's a big number. Call attention. See, over 500,000 impressions. So yeah, it reached something.
I mean,
go ahead, sorry, please.
On there, the amusing thing about this is it can't be directed at the user or whatever, because what value is there to the user?
Exactly.
Whether it's 100 billion, 100 trillion, whatever, like none of that value goes back to the user. So why would they care? You know, I'm not gonna jump on what we're doing again, but that's the point of what we're doing. So yeah, it's just bizarre that that sort of figure makes no difference to the user.
Yeah, and we have now two posts from Ryan Butler, and it's interesting. So he compares average American bet size, and he has two sources. He was comparing, regulated sports books, offshore sports books, and prediction markets. And from Citizens, it shows the prediction market has double of the offshore sports books and triple of regulated sports books in the US. But when we come to Juice Real, it's the same as offshore sports and a little bit over double of regulated sports. So anyway, it doesn't matter the source that you use here. So it shows that prediction markets are doing, at least people who are using prediction markets, they are the average betting size of them are at least the same that they do for offshore products, but it's at least over the double of they do on the regulated sports books. So it should sign that a little bit more trust on prediction markets. So they put more money on average on prediction markets than in regular sports books.
I think there's a few ways to cut this. This is not just one factor, but I was going to jokingly say it just shows that regulation kills everything. Right? The illegal guys and the unregulated guys are like, nah, we're going to make money. But I think what it is regulated sports books that allow more access to the general public who will bet much smaller odds. So average is not actually useful in this case. What does it mean? Right? What is the mean bet across all of these? Is way more gives you more information because it shows you the distribution spread. So I think it's cool when it looks good.
You mean that a few whales could totally change the average and will mislead
in prediction markets because it's not as deep, right? In sports books, it's probably the curve is probably a lot smoother, right? Also, regulated sports books do not allow big players because big players take their money. So it's totally, there's so many cuts to this that you can look at and be like, the reason is, and it's probably 5 or 6 different things combined. But prediction markets, it's new. The people who are playing in it are relatively educated. Regulated sportsbook, people are not very educated. There are players in there who will be, but they also, sportsbooks don't allow big sizes because big sizes are people who are intelligent and know how to kill them. So again, regulated entities act more shady than prediction markets at times, but they do it under the guise of regulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would agree with your point about the median tells you like the adoption, and like the average tells you like belief, really. So it's you know, it's not it's what they're sort of saying really isn't quite as like sorry, I'm trying to think what I'm trying to the words I'm trying to say there. It's not as useful.
Maybe it's clear cut. It's not. It's like, I can jump on this and it makes lots of sense. So
exactly,
every prediction market's going to have way more than everybody else. You know, it's not like if we scale prediction markets to a global phenomenon, it's not going to maintain double the spend. It's going to go down as mainstream adoption comes down. That's going down as regulation comes in. If prediction markets start to look like and behave like sports books in the back end perspective, like they set odds and stuff like that, you'll see it come down as well. So yeah, I see. Yeah,
I mean, I hope that doesn't. I hope they don't. Prediction markets don't try and copy sports books in that way.
But it's the sports books that will be creating prediction markets.
Yes. Yeah, so I think it's them.
They're going to have a lot of problems not doing the thing that makes them lots of money.
Well, indeed, and that's why, like you said, you know, large users of prediction markets, well, they come to prediction markets now rather than sports betting because they're locked out of being able to put large trades, gamble or whatever, because that's not how standard betting markets make their money. So whereas those people can come across to prediction markets and start using its size because no one's going to stop them doing it, you know, if they're right, and they'll make good on it. But that's how it should be at the end of the day. I mean, it shouldn't, you know, that's the house edge thing and the house, tilting the odds to make sure that they are the ones that make the money and that's the difference between sort of gambling and betting and prediction markets. Because prediction markets is about surfacing the truth and everything like that, and conviction, rather than entertainment, which betting sites are, and they use everything to their advantage, and they manipulate the whole system so that they are always the winners. Whereas you can walk away being a winner on prediction markets because the prediction markets themselves, there's no house edge there. It's a level playing field.
You can trust it a bit more, I think, particularly at this stage anyway. The house has no skin in the game when it comes to outcome. All they do is provide infrastructure. And I think that's the important bit. It's just like, we're just infrastructure providers and we do this service. And I just think it's absolutely bizarre. And I'm just looking at the UK view, and you'll understand this. Is you have a gaming commission which allows licenses to betting operators based on the guise that they're allowed to extract value from these people. And then they criticize the betting operators for extracting value from those people. And they make them pay fines, and then they make them put warnings all over it. But at the same time, they have sanctioned the mechanics that allow them to do that. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Who's
I
doing
guess it is safer. What?
Who's doing the extracting here?
Yeah, exactly. It's the government. Didn't see it. We're getting to the point where we might not be able to talk about the government in this country at some point. We're following America's lead. They're leading us to a new world. Thanks,
It's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
None. It's so mental.
So if you think that's mental, check this out. 1.5% of all poly market volumes come from people betting on how often Elon Musk tweets. which is so it hit an all-time high 3 weeks ago with 16 million in a single week.
Wow.
Dude, it's only people betting on how often he tweets makes way more volume than most of the apps in crypto.
I would be interested to know how many of them are botted. Like, how much is somebody just got an algorithm sitting in the background going, just trade that one? Because that's one of the oldest markets on Polymarket. Like, that one's been culture market for like ever. And I would just like, it's because clever people know that, I wouldn't say everybody, but clever people know that you can just set up some sort of trading bot that monitors his tweets and then makes decisions based on past markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's like that would be why that could be one of the reasons that it could be really high, because you're just setting up about like 10 or 15 guys with bots doing lots of trades.
Yeah. And guys, so talking about bots, they have more content to talk about bots trading here. Just let me know if we can go for more 10 minutes.
Well, yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Why don't we
wrap up here?
Let's do one more, because I think the next two.
So we have these.
Or maybe the next. We have the next three are really closely linked, and then I think that's a good space to pass.
Yeah. Or I can speed things up here just to give an update here, guys. So basically, we've been talking about these deployments on prediction markets on wallets, and we've been talking about how this could potentially increase the yields, but it's kind of been a nothing burger here. So we have data on the Jupiter prediction markets and on wallets, and dude, there's actually not a lot of volume here as well. So we have this trading competition here. If you're trading on Kalshi, it's a way to promote the partnership between Kalshi and Zflow on Solana. So we know that they kind of tokenize the positions on Kalshi, so you can trade Kalshi on chain. So they have this competition here. What else? A lot of updates here from Predict.fun, which nowadays is becoming the top prediction market on BNB. The 15-minute up and down markets for Bitcoin are up. And they also announced yields on your open positions and lending. Lending, it seems to be really similar to what we discussed here previously about what Kyondor is doing with your positions on Polymarket. This one I wanted to hear from you guys. So Delphi was one of the oldest research houses in the space about crypto and Web3, and they announced this partnership with Polymarket. So they just posted in December this big report for their predictions of what's to come for 2026, and they partnered with Polymarket to have markets on those predictions. So it's really similar to what we discussed in the beginning of the show with how Polymarket is making these partnerships with media companies, and now how can analysts can have skin in the game. So they are making predictions, and these predictions are becoming markets on Polymarket, and we can trade, and we can check in the end of the year if they were correct or not. A few markets are already live.
People to help them come up with new market. They need experts to help them come up with new market ideas. as well.
Yeah,
That was always
for
one
sure.
that we struggled with. And it's safer than decentralizing it for those guys.
Yeah.
All right, is that the end? Did we get to
Almost there. We have these. Okay, the last one. Real estate markets are officially live on Polymarket. They had another partnership with Parcel to bring these real estate markets. This is really useful, I think. I mean, if you are in US, if you're thinking about buying a home, I know a lot of people in the US are complaining about the price of real estate. Okay, you can have a kind of a better informated decision now with these kind of markets.
Interesting.
Okay, that's it from my side, Nick. We have more stuff. We can save that for later. Or you guys, if
Yeah.
you're listening to us, you can just check dollartrade.xyz and check out the newsletter. That I put this everything together there.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
Julian, thanks a lot for joining us in this first show of the year. Nick, it's great to be back here with you, bro. Let me just
Yep.
share here. Okay, this is the Dollar Trade webpage. Go there, dollartrade.xyz. If you didn't try meme coins prediction market, check this out. Give it a try. It's already live. Julian is doing a great job building that. And what else, Nick? Any last words for the show, Julian, before we leave?
No, appreciate coming on again. It's a good start to the new year. So yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, looking forward to building strong in 2026. Ourselves, like we're now focused on bringing the Meme Coin World Cup live as soon as we can. But we've got the traditional, the standard markets that people can come and check out over sort of hourly and 24-hour time frames, and just come and see what we're doing. Check our Git book, see what we're about. That's where I'd start.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. Keep an eye. We will be back on Thursday with everything, with all the updates of everything that's happening on Prediction Market Guides. Thanks a lot.